What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Smitty here, and relatively brief video, just giving my recap in regards to the Super Bowl here. But this is the interesting take, as you guys see in the title. The cover guy of Madden that current year, or for that current season, actually won the Super Bowl. Now, I know people gonna say, well, technically the curse still did hold into effect because he did get hurt. But even though Gronk did get hurt, think about it. Just think if Gronk was playing. Look at what these guys were able to do, and they didn't have Gronk. You see what I'm saying? So just think if Gronk was active and he was able to get it in, especially seeing how the game had went down today. I mean, geez, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he would have played a huge part in their second half comeback. Without question, he would have played a real big part. So, but with that being said, this was a tale definitely of two halves. The Patriots definitely won this game. They won this game. Like, they definitely won this game. They had to fight. The defense had to definitely step up and dig in, because without them, this really pays true. This speaks volumes to defense winning championships, because to me the defense is the MVP. Without their defense, these dudes don't have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady and all his heroics wouldn't have mattered if the defense didn't come through and make the plays that they made. If they didn't stop these guys, I mean, they stopped them the entire second half. They didn't get no points. And the crazy thing is, like what I was saying earlier, when I streamed prior to the game, these guys did it to themselves. You know what I'm saying? This is no one else's fault but Atlanta's. Atlanta had the opportunity to score. All they needed was one field goal to put the whole game out of reach. They just needed one field goal. 3 points is what could have kept because you would have had the game. The game would have been out of reach. They could have once Julio made that catch. All they needed to do was run the ball up the gut, milk the clock, run the ball up the gut, and that would have been it. I would have been milking as much clock as possible. I would have been snapping that ball with like 4 or 5 seconds left on the play clock. These dudes were just steadily trying to push the ball down the field with ample time on the clock. Like, that's what they needed to do that. They didn't need to do that. They did not need to do that at all. See what I'm saying? The game was in their favor. They just needed to milk it, and they would have won the game. So these guys did it. Like I said, these guys did it to themselves. And y'all had a field goal opportunity, take it in for 6. I mean, you had that opportunity because, and like I said, this is the whole other thing too in terms of putting the game out of reach. Let's say that if Atlanta were able to drive the ball downfield in the second half, not necessarily get to the end zone, but steadily were able to kick field goals. If they just kept tacking on, if they tacked on another 2 or 3 field goals, game's out of reach. Especially if they managed the clock well in terms of milking it as they made their progress, that would have spoke volumes. That would have sealed it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said that Atlanta lost this game. These guys came back put up 25 points, and then come in and get the ball and drive it all the way downfield just steadily. And I mean, look, the offensive line, even though Tom Brady got hurried a good amount and he took some hits, he took a decent number of hits. When it mattered the most, these dudes came through and caught those. Not caught. Excuse me. His offensive line blocked when it mattered most. Like, he had ample time in the pocket. He had a good time in the pocket to read and evaluate and see his options and get it out and everything else. Like, he had some options. He had some time. And that's one thing you cannot give Tom Brady. You cannot give that guy all kinds of time. But not only on top of that, that play by Amendola, man, that catch, I mean, goodness gracious, gets tipped in the air. Dude comes away with it. Ball nearly, the tip of it nearly touched the ground. And he just had it pulled up. So, like, especially the way it was bobbled the way it was, like, that's extreme concentration and focus, and he pulled it in. It's just like with the catch Julio had between him and the defender. Like, he had to fight that ball into his mitt and keep it there. You know, that was like, I think that was like in the first or second quarter. But you know, that was a great thing to see there. And, you know, not to get too much on the feedback side of things, but player movement is paramount. Seeing Devontae Freeman plant and cut and all that the way he does, we need to see that distinct motion and distinct player movement and foot planting and stuff like that. And even on the route running instances, how Malcolm Butler, how he got shook up the way he did. He didn't push him or nothing like that. It's just his footwork and everything. His footwork, the way he was playing him, and he shook him up. And he fell out and he fell down. And the same thing happened multiple times with it happened a few times too with Atlanta, where the defender would over pursue and he's trying to recover real quick and he'll slip and fall and come and then try and recover. And I mean, and you will see dudes slip as they're trying to get their footing. Like, you know, he's trying to slow down and he'll slip and fall trying to recover. And you even had receivers slipping and falling on turf. There's no rain, no elements, and they're slipping and falling. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see that stuff happening in the game. But we need these players to be attached to the field, like have them truly attached, removing the sliding and gliding and the two-man animation sequences and have it be more one-to-one like what happens in FIFA. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff we need in the game. We need that. So, but just to cap it here as far as the video, it was a great game. I was saying earlier on, like, you know, this may be a game where it'll come down to just a few key, it'll be a closely contested game. It'll come down to whomever has the ball last, or it could be just a field goal, like what I was saying before. And that's literally what it came down to. Number one, Atlanta, they messed up because they were in field goal range and had that penalty and that sack that drove them out of field goal range and had to punt it. If they just, instead of trying to pass the ball and just run the ball up the gut in field goal range, put yourself in better position to make the kick a little bit easier. That's all they truly needed to do. And they would have had it. And then it came down to literally the last possession. New England had it, and they steadily drove the ball down the field and was able to take it in for 6. They had some opportunities where the ball got popped up, though. Atlanta did try to make some plays, and Vic Beasley, if he could have truly got his hands on that ball in the end zone, that would have been huge, because the other times he didn't have his hands on it. Atlanta would pop the ball up, but there was nobody to get under the ball for an INT. So, Tom Brady and crew kept having some daylight. So, but yeah, so that's the crazy part. You know what I mean? Gronk is able to come away with a title the same year he lands on the cover, for that season. I would think that's the first time in history, but like I said, I'm not for certain. But that's a huge first. But hey, New England did it. Got to give them props. And even though it's the end of the season, it's the end of the season. But as we all know, we pay attention to NFL Network. The season still carries on. So we'll be following that through the combine and the draft and everything, and we'll see what unfolds from there. So, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What were your favorite moments of the game? Was it any of the Super Bowl ads? Were it any parts of the game or what have you in particular that you enjoyed or whatever? Just have some dialogue in the comment section, and I will be back with more videos. So until the next time, y'all, take care. God bless and be safe. Peace.